What's up? Alex O Crypto. I got people's clothes in the background. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to the Otter Gang. How we all doing? Weekly candle is in. Hope you're all doing well. Let's jump into the chat. TRD Farmer says, I'm feeling hung up these days. We're talking about entries. Well, we'll get into that. But first of all, let's look at the weekly candle and let's talk about what happened today. Holy smokes, what a pump. Now, let's look at this. Bitcoin pumped all the way up 12%. 12% in one day because the Fed decided to bail out a bank today. The Fed was like, hey, we'll turn on the money printer. Now, if you caught this move, I saw Darren in the chat on the Discord. He was up 780% on his trade. He caught the trade. What's up, Melissa Santiago? Hello, 100 with the heart sign. Shout out to you. Thank you for being here. Did you catch the trade today? We're going to talk about entries as well. We were talking about a Matic trade on the weekend. It obviously hasn't played out because look at this pump we got. Now, this is very scary. Now, we can see that we got such a big pump today. The weekly candle has printed. Now, if you don't know when the weekly candle actually prints, you got to go down. Let me full screen this. You got to go down to here and you got to switch this to UTC London. Now, London is what Bitcoin runs off. So 12 o'clock p.m. on a Sunday, London time is when the candle finishes and it prints. And you can see it's worked its way all the way back up from 19.3 up to 22.50 almost today. Wild. Absolutely wild. What a pump today. So that is not looking good. That is looking really good if you're looking for more upside on Bitcoin. You can see that we had a movement here that we were dropping down. We were like, okay, we're going to the basement. Bearish, bearish, bearish. And the bulls came back in and pumped price up. Now, this happened literally. This news happened literally 5 minutes before the futures markets opened today for the mini futures, the S&P 500. So you can see it came up quite dramatically on this time zone. I do not know what my computer screen is doing. It's bouncing in and out of full screen. So I hope you guys all had a really good weekend. It's Monday here in Australia, 5 p.m. I know it's not the same time for you guys out. I think some of you are in Canada. Shout out to where you're from. Some of you in Canada, some of you in the States. We were looking at this yesterday. We have people from even India checking in on the live stream. That's amazing. And we have, I know this is a very male-dominant industry, but we have almost 3% females. And Melissa, you're definitely one of them. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being here. You know, you got to keep these men under control. Now, we do have a brand new CME gap. Make sure to add this to your trading charts so you can see that price has moved intensely up, right? We were looking to fill this gap to the left here that we had filled just recently, and now we got a new one, and these tend to get filled almost 90% of the time. So it's actually quite a good setup, but look how big this pump was. I mean, we started the day and price came up to a certain level where we would normally short it. And we were mentioning it in our Discord. We're like, hey, this is my level. Let's short from here. And it actually worked out. So we'll get into that trade setup. We'll talk about that and what happened. While I was at work, Bitcoin went on a tear. Now, I did not catch this pump. If any of you had caught this pump, congratulations. TRD said, whoa, did you assume gender just now? I did assume gender, and I'm not going to apologize for that. Oh, my God. So you can see that we were in this clear downtrend that we had marked out. Look at this. And then, boom, we have broken out of it now, you know, and we can see that price is just flying to the upside. When it's going to stop, well, we'll figure that out as well. We had a longing alert down here. We'll have to move this somewhere up once we get some new levels for everybody. And we'll go over some trading ideas for the Bitcoin price, because obviously it's been a wild one. Obviously it's pumped up crazy, a whole big, huge gain today. So what was the trade setup? What were our levels before? We'll turn on all this stuff and get it set up so you guys can easily see what our thoughts were, what was our setup, how we were looking to trade this, and what's really going on. Because we do have Fed interest rates coming out. Did you hear about CZ deploying $1 billion into BTC, ETH, and BNB? Yes, I did. That post was on by Altcoin Daily. I just checked that before the live stream, actually. Altcoin Daily posted that $1 billion into BTC, ETH, and BNB. Now, guess the bull run is on. That sounds pretty wild to me. I saw that, and it was retweeted by Altcoin Daily. So it looks like everybody's saying the bull run is back on, because, we were feeling very bearish. What happened here is we get a bank failure here, and we pump price to the downside, right? We consolidated. We're looking for a trade. We're looking for a pump upwards, right? We had this key level of support right here. If I zoom in, we have this key level of support right here that we had from before, and we were looking for a reaction. We got a mini reaction, but guess what? It just flew right through. Now, what happened is that they said, oh, we'll bail you out, no problem. $25 billion bailout to make people whole, and boom, prices rallied 5 minutes before. So the following one, thank you so much for being here. Happy belated birthday. I'm due next, March 18th. We're going to go live on my birthday. Might as well. We might not have time, but we'll try our best. You know what? The best thing is in Australia, I'll have my birthday on the 18th. And when I live stream on the 19th, it'll still be my birthday over there. Win-win. I get 2 birthdays. Is that not true? Right? I'm in the future in Australia's. Deploying capital, shaking hands. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. M in the gym. So let's get the charts pumping. So he's getting his pump on while trading the charts. Awesome. So we can see that we had kind of a double bottom here. A lot of people were talking about some sort of symmetrical triangle. We can talk about that as well. And we can see, it's very, 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 based on the macro news that we got about the bailout. All of a sudden they're like, okay, we'll bail you out. No problem. Don't worry. The bank isn't insolvent, and happy days, right? And now they're saying there's like a bailout until March 2024 for any other bank. So it's like, don't worry about it. Just risk all your money. 100x leverage. You'll be fine. And if you mess up, we'll bail you out. It's kind of like, what the heck's going on here with finances, and what is up with the U.S. economy with Biden? He's increased crypto tax from 20 to 40%. There's a whole bunch of crazy news coming out right now, and it's really affecting the market. Now we have the interest rates. If you don't have this marked out, this vertical line here is interest rates. CPI data is coming out. It's going to affect the market. Is it going to be 0.25 or is it going to be 0.5 basis points? We're going to see. I'm leaning more towards 0.25 basis points now that, all is fine and dandy. We're going to the moon. Don't worry about it. Everything's okay. We'll just turn the printers back on if we have any issues, right? So looking at the environment for a Sunday, this has been wild for you guys. For a Monday for me, it's been wild as well. I'm at work just wishing I caught this move. I did not catch this move, but I was in the Discord trying to help you guys kind of navigate it. We were posting stuff about the pump and the news being released, but also let's talk about the setup that was given, right? Because obviously I had this level here. It came up and it touched it. Now we were looking at it. Let's zoom in a little bit. And we can see that this was the level right here that we came up and we touched, right? We can see this box here. I've moved the boxes for the live stream, but you can see the box here, right? We came up and we touched the middle of this box. We dropped down. I was like, okay, that's a great trade setup, right? As we look here, great trade setup in this box, stop loss above the box, all the way aiming for the lows of the lows, right? That's where we'd be aiming. So that's a very nice ratio of a trade, right? Obviously, we came down, faked everybody out, and then went to the moon. Now, what's my indication here that maybe this wasn't a good idea? We had very, very sideways price action for a Friday, Saturday, and then all of a sudden, boom, we're coming up. We get people bearish, and then they just run it up on us with the news, right? So this is an area we were looking at, but obviously it didn't play out because sometimes news, especially like this, is definitely going to pump the markets, right? So now you can see we've come up to this area here. We have a point of control local area for the range that we were trading in before we had this dump of the banks. So we are coming back up trying to test this area. So can we come up and pass this point of control? I don't have to draw arrows anymore because I switched my cursor so it does an arrow for me, right? So dump down. We thought we were going to consolidate here and then possibly head lower. Absolutely not. We're printing money. So what can we look at now? We can look at what the markets are going to do. Let's take a look. Starting out, let's start out on our 3-day. Let's look at Market Cipher. Go through all the different times and see what we can pick out from our Market Cipher, and then go from there. Then we'll get into the trade setup on Markewt that we had, and we'll talk about entering a trade, and just what I go through when entering a trade before I hit, the buy or sell button, just to help out TRD and help out anybody who's looking to get better entries and possibly, obviously we all want better entries. Better the entry, the better the profits, right? So you can see here, bearish divergence, played down, touched the zero line, crossing over, but money flow has stayed in the green on the 3-day, right? So that still says that, oh yeah, we did come down, we did move down, but boom, we're heading right back up. And money flow is still in the green. That does remain bullish. Now we can look for this as a failure. It's failed to come back into the red, right? And it stayed in the green, and it's continuing, and maybe we get another move to the upside. So this is obviously very, very scary. I don't know if it's scary. If you're bullish on Bitcoin, I think it's good. We were obviously on this channel, we were looking for lower lows in order to pick up and accumulate some more assets, but it hasn't happened because of this news. We've wicked down and we've obviously shot up. So we're going to wait to see what happens with a reaction to this level here. Now going to the daily, we can see, boom, huge push to the upside. Stochastic was bottomed out and has moved up. It has flipped. It hasn't flipped to the green yet, so we'll keep our eye on that. We're going to look for quite a reaction tomorrow. It should be a good indication on what the markets are doing. Obviously, the whole talk this weekend has been the depegging of Celsius or the USDC. I traded the USDC about 5 times, making quite a bit of profits on the weekend. It has been very lucrative for some of us. I mean, it's supposed to be at $1 and it's below $1. So what do? You long it at the bottoms, and then hopefully it works its way back up, which it has. So USDC, big talking point, and now obviously the printers have gone off. They're making everybody whole. Never mind about the Silicon Valley Bank. It's okay. Whatever. We got them. We bailed them out. So that's really what's happened. And now the big news is this bailout and obviously this pump. You go on Twitter, all you can hear about is this pump and what has happened with the failure of the banks while they're bailing them out, right? So let's go through these times. We can see that we have, the typical curl to the upside. Even in these midterm time frames, we can see money flow is starting to come back out of the red into the green, which is bullish. And we're looking for, I like to look at this as, when you look at this curve to the upside here, we can see that it starts to really move upwards about 3/4 of the way of that curve, and it clearly has, right? This move was hard to catch, right? This move, you could have said falling wedge. You could have, there's a whole bunch of different patterns in here, but really it's news, right? And you can't blame yourself. There is such thing as catching these things, and maybe you would have caught the bottoms here, but really what's happened is because of news. So don't feel like you've missed out. I know I feel a bit of FOMO of not longing. Like as soon as I mentioned to Mrs. Otter that I was like, oh, Bitcoin went up $2,500 today. She was like, did you long it? I was like, sad face. Because we didn't totally catch the move. We caught a bit of it, but my God, it's moved quite a bit, right? So going into the 8 hour, the 6 hour, obviously money money flows come out, it's touching the zero line and it's starting to pump upwards. And this is just indicative of this pump, right? It's just showing that as money came into the markets and everybody and their sister longed it today, it's pumped, right? I caught the bottom with 100x leverage. I saw that trade on USDC, right? Too bad I shorted, he says. Mrs. Otter, the following one shorted the markets instead of longed it with 100x leverage. Don't worry. They'll bail you out, right? Oh my God. That's wild. That is wild. Shout out to you guys. Hope you're all enjoying this stream. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you haven't, comment an otter down below in the chat because you ought to know better. Now, as you guys know, I had my mother staying here about 2 weeks ago, and now I have my other mothers staying here. You can see the bed is set up behind me, and I keep hearing giggles from the background, and it's making me laugh because I remember when I first started live streaming, I'm like, I don't even know what I'm gonna say, and I just kept saying it, and I was here and I was wondering, what am I going to do when my mom comes? So I flipped up the bed behind me and it looked like a padded wall. So it looked like I was like in some sort of an insane asylum. So I said, whenever I would lose a trade, I could run into something. But now we got the bed down. We got people visiting. So grateful, living in Australia, you feel like you're on Mars sometimes, but, having good family is so important that come and visit you and keep you company in this wild, wild world. So hope you're all having fun. Thank you for liking and subscribing, and we appreciate you sincerely. So let's look at this here. We can see we're looking for bear divs, right? That's what we'd be looking for. So we can see we're getting a curl over here, but right now it's very hard to tell. We want to be patient. I want to short this. Don't get me wrong. I want to short this to the ground, right? But right now we have to see how the market reacts come tomorrow. Now, what can be a greater indicative of this? We will get you your Bitcoin levels, but right now we're going to go over and look at the mini futures, right? The mini futures opened up and look at this. Wow. Pumpapalooza, right? It's come up. Right, we had this huge move to the downside, and now we've had relief. Well, why do we get relief? That's because of this bailout, right? So tomorrow, when the markets open, we got S&P below this trend line. We need to watch the S&P and how it reacts to this trend line, because if it breaks above and flips it to support, I do agree that the bull market is back on, right? Then we're going to look for a reaction up here at 4,071. That's what we're going to look for. But until that, we got to watch for the push up and the flip to support. Okay, that's what I'm watching on the S&P 500. Make sure to draw this trend line. It has been respected ever since December. And yes, it is back underneath it. So unless it can break through, we're going to continue downwards. And guess what? This bailout could just mean that, hey, really, are you pulling our chain? Are you messing with us? Because we know that inflation isn't good. We know that eggs cost $12 a carton now. We know, so it's like you're just bailing them out. This doesn't mean that the market's doing better, right? So we got to be patient. We got to wait to see how the market reacts overall. The dollar is down, right? The dollar is down, right? It's come down below this key level of support. Now we're back into this box here. So I keep moving this box around. If we drop on the dollar, that means people are starting to put their money back into risk assets, which means that the markets will pump, right? Hot dog, right? Sniper's Nightmare in the chat. How's it going, brother? Good to see you here. Hope you're having a good day. Making them profits. I know it's been quite a great day for you. I was talking to you today, Jern, and you've had a wild day. I hope you're doing well, my friend. looking for the Dixie to continue back into this range down here. That would be very, very bullish for risk on assets like Bitcoin. So we got to keep an eye on the Dixie, and we also got to keep an eye on the S&P 500 in order to see how the markets will react tomorrow when they open after all this crazy news over the weekend. So quickly, we're going to look at USDC. Now, I had been trading this multiple times on the weekend. Let's jump in. Obviously, we don't have anything printed on the 12, so we can see here. I mean, I grabbed multiple longs. I grabbed one here, up to here. I grabbed one here, up to here. And then I grabbed one here, up to here, and I wish I held on to it, right? But look at this. We're coming back up to 98 cents. It's kind of trying to stay below here. Maybe we're waiting to see how it reacts tomorrow morning, right? Everything is kind of waiting on tomorrow morning. I do believe we're due for a pump on the S&P 500. It's just so obvious, you know, but we also got to remember that definitely the CPI inflation data is coming out Tuesday. So be prepared, be ready, and practice good risk management. Now, let's pull up some new levels, and we got to do this all over again. In my opinion, we got to start fresh. So we're going to start fresh, right? We're going to delete all of this stuff here, and I want to start completely fresh with you guys. I'm going to keep my trend lines on here because I do like my trend lines, but I'm going to start completely fresh with you guys in how I would lay this out. Very simply, first, I'm going to pull volume profile. Where am I going to pull the volume profile? I'm going to pull it from up here, across here, and I'm going to look. Okay, so I'm going to put a horizontal here, right? And I'm going to put a horizontal here. This is not my range. These are just key levels, and you can see there's a key level here. I'll move my alerts up just so that they're out of the way. Had a blast night. Amazing, Sniper. Amazing. Sniper had a great night last night. We're all happy for you, Sniper. Hope you're doing well. So we're going to lay out some key levels of volume. We're going to pull another volume from here. Okay. So this is giving us kind of a range. Now we want to get much more personal with this range. So we'll zoom in here. Let me put that up here. We'll zoom in here. Now I just want to take this area here. Okay. Now how did I get this POC local? So we're going to go over here. We're going to pull volume from here. Now this is more local. Now you can see there. So we're going to go POC local. See how it all works out. You can see as it quickly goes through all this and label my charts just so I have an idea, right? So you can see this was respected. I'm going to stick with the way where it's at right here because it is on the bottom. I'll move it up a tiny bit, but it is at the bottom of here. And then we do have this one here. So I'll move this down a little bit. And this one can stay. This one's not going to stay put. This one's going to come up to here because we have highs here and key levels of support. So this will be my new range that I will look to trade right now. I will look for moves up and moves down as well, but this will be my new range. Now, if you want the prices, this is the prices, just so you have them. We'll do it nice and quick for you guys so you have an idea of where we're looking to trade, right? Between 23.8 and 21.5. These are my new levels. Actually, bring that lower. Sorry about that. 21.4, right? So we have a new range. This is my new range that I'm going to look to trade. Now we can also get local with this, right? So we can see that we have volume spikes here. So this is definitely a new area that we're going to be looking to trade. And we'll get rid of this and we'll zoom in now. So as we zoom in, we can get much more personal. I like the 4 hour actually. And we can see that we've got this range here. What is within this range? Well, we're going to have to pull some fibs. So let's pull some fibs from the top to the bottom and have a look at what they give us. So right now we can see we're trading at the 0.5. So obviously this point of control local area is our key level in order for us to get above. We need to get above this area. So this to me is definitely the most important level for us to move up to and have a reaction on price, right? Now what I do, just so you know, TRD, is I'll extend this up just so I know that there's more room for it to move here, and then I'll go to a whole number, right? So I would go, so 23K sounds nice, right? So let's go to 23K, but we're looking for a reaction when price gets up there, right? So that would be a definite area where I'm looking for it to trade. Now this is between the golden pocket and the 786, and we know that the top of this range is above here, right? So this is just our first area. Secondly, we're going to pull a swing low to the swing high with the fibs. We're going to get this, and now we're going to look between the 0.5 and the golden pocket, which will be my other area that I'm looking for price to trade around. Now I will get rid of this, and these are my two ranges that I'm looking to trade. I'm looking for price to come to these areas with a reaction. Now what we can also do is we can mark out we can move this up to our value area high. Not our value area high, sorry, our top support and our top resistance, and look to trade this as a range. So we have multiple ranges within a bigger idea of a range. Now going from here, now I can zoom down into the 12 and I can look to trade this. So I'll switch between the 12 and the 24, looking for confirmations on my Markewt Cipher. I can see that we have a high here. This failed to get above. So what am I looking for? If I'm looking for a short right now, I'm looking for this to get above. I'm looking for a bullish divergence coming down like this. This is my first indication, right? I'm also pulling up my VWAP, which is another indicator that I love using. And I'm looking for VWAP to either stay above or stay below. So I'll pull up the VWAP. We can see that we are below it, or are below it right now, which means the trend is to the upside, right? It's acting as support. So the VWAP, support, 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 right? Obviously keeping price up, right? Push through, support, push through, support, 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 right? So right now it's looking to go up. So I'm looking for a higher price, right? I'm looking for a wick such as this, but I'm looking for a higher wick than this. So my trade setup right now would be for looking for a wick above these supports somewhere around here, just above the wick, right? Above the highest level of support and resistance. So above our highest resistance, which actually is marked out wrong. It should be here, right? That's my highest wick. So I'm looking to get above there, right? And by getting above there, this is my trade setup. And I'm waiting. I'm being patient, right? Now I might miss this move, but it's definitely a safer move than a sorrier move. And we're looking for a reaction here. We're looking for it to come above this wick here, and we're looking for a bearish divergence, right? So that's how I would trade set that up right now. So this would be my trade setup for Bitcoin, just looking for a reaction here, but not forgetting that if we don't have, but tomorrow when we do have volume, which is very important to note, yes, we've had massive amounts of volume and it's starting to curl down now because of the news. We have massive volume, but in order to push higher, we're going to need immense volume like we just had today, right? You can see it's cooling off, right? And it will spike again tomorrow. It won't be, if we look to the left here, we can see that we've had very steady volume over the weekend, right? There's been a bit more because of the USDC, but it hasn't been too intense. Then we get this massive, intense volume, which obviously pumped us up, and now it's cooling off, and look for it to come back up. So if we are going into tomorrow, we're definitely looking at this level, not this level, right? Because this is our level with lower volume, right? If we're getting more volume, we're going to look for it to push higher and then get rejected because people are waiting here mostly with their shorts, right? But let's not forget, we're aiming for that CME gap below us now because we have an idea. We have an idea of what the trade setup is that, hey, if we go over to CME, there's a giant gap below us that, for me, it needs to be filled. It needs to be filled. How and when? I'm not sure, but over this pump and this reaction of Monday, however we decide to trade, I'm going to look for it to come back and maybe fire off along again, right? And this would be my area where I'm looking to long now, right? Overall. So that's kind of my ideas for Bitcoin, if that makes sense for you. I hope it does, right? So we can, where's the price on this one? Alexo Crypto, come on, 21,110 entry zone, right? So 21,110, we look over here, 21. So this needs to come up, 21,110, and now we can just put CME right here, right? So we have that along with our golden pocket, which is definitely an area of interest for us to trade, right? Makes sense, makes sense. So look for us to range, but tomorrow will be the key indicator. I will be in the Discord. Don't forget to join our free Discord. Link is in the description below. We're always in there giving setups, giving ideas on how we can get into better trades, our thoughts, our ideas on setups, and all that is there. So we're going to go into Matic before I leave because we have company. These are going to be shorter, but this is kind of just trying to set you guys up for tomorrow on how price is going to react. We have these key areas here that we're looking to trade. Be careful out there with all this news, it's all about good risk management. I can't stress that enough, is having a healthy mindset, good risk management, and protecting your capital. If you can protect your capital, look at trading as a long-term goal rather than a short-term fix. You'll be in much of a better healthy mindset in order to profit from these markets, right? If we miss this move, well, guess what? There's hundreds and hundreds and thousands of moves coming in the future, right? If you're in this to win this, I don't know why that just popped up, but if you're in this to win this, there's drops, there's pumps, and we're trying to catch these and set each other up for success. So stick with us, stick with a plan, get these levels, look for reactions at this price points, and have some fun, right? Do it with a smile on your face, and let's get some profits. So we're going to go over to this Matic setup, right? So Matic comes up to this area that we had set up, and this was set up, I think, on Friday. This is for TRD Farmer, and we can see that we had this area. We came up to it. We've pumped above, and obviously we've continued on our merry way upwards, right? So how did we get this level? How do we know that price did come to here? And it dropped down quite a bit. Like, if you did take this trade, you would have had a nice little gain, right? You would have had 2.5% gain, but it wasn't what we were looking for. We were obviously looking for price to continue up to this key level. It was hanging around here, and then it came up, it hit it, it dropped, and then obviously with the news, it's pumped, right? So what was our thoughts? What was our ideas? How did we set this up? So we've pulled, we can see here multiple signals. One, there's a low, boom, this is where it broke down. Significant area is obviously here, is at the $1 mark. It was able to stay above the $1 mark. So we were expecting upwards action and relief. We were looking at Bitcoin. Bitcoin had continued to move upwards like it had been over the weekend. So we're like, okay, let's look for Matic to have an impulsive Matic move where it moves 2 or 3 or 4% more than Bitcoin upwards and then slams down. Well, where does that area make most sense? And that was at these highs, right? We can see 1, 2, 3 touches before it moved up, right? 4 touches, 5 touches, right? So this area was a key level of resistance. It needed quite a bit of attempts to get through. You can see 1, 2. Look at how it just hovered around here, and then it dropped, came back, dropped, and then pumped, and then even dropped again, and then finally made its way upwards, right? So you can see how well respected this area was. Now, how did we get this area? I believe you can see that it was supported there, but if we look to the left, look at the confluence here. It needed a lot of volume just to get past here as well. So multiple levels of support and resistance. That's why it was such a key level. That's why we were looking to short it. Now, how do we know when to get into the short position? Well, let's zoom right in and look at the 12-minute. When we look at the 12-minute, we can see this area. So what am I looking for when I come up to this area? Let's rewind it and actually take a look. So let's play this back. And we'll see. So price is moving up. It's very important to use the rewind function in order to see how the trade works out, right? Now right here, I'd be getting excited, right? You're getting big excited. It's coming up to that level, right? But it's getting rejected. And we're watching price, we're watching price, we're watching price. So we get a big wick here. Then we get a push up, right? So let's go into the 3-minute now that we're getting really close, right? So we get a wick here, then a big push up. So you can see volumes come into the market. Oof. What is that? So we turn on our volume. If we had our volume on while we were watching price action, we can see, look at the amount of volume that came in order to push above this key level of resistance. Quite a bit, right? Now it's coming up again. One touch. We could have got in there. No, we wait for confirmation, right? I wait for confirmation. Boom, it came up. Now we're not getting a significant high. There's a significant high. This would be my indication that it's failing to break above. So we've seen the volume spike up right here. You see how high the volume is? And you see this wick, right? John Wick's in the house. And he was failing to get above. So volume spikes up. You can see the clear volume spike. Spike up, it's a failure pattern. So this is my entry right here, right? It's somewhere along here. We have the entry set up. We can see it's been respected, failure to get above, right? Multiple signals of exhaustion, price failing to get above, right? And as it comes down, boom, by now I've already hit my take profit. I've already taken one at least. Move stop loss to entry, right? And yes, it does come back up and get out. But we have, what is it? 3, 6, 9. So we have an opportunity to take profit and move stop loss into entry. And yes, we get knocked out. So that's our first trade setup there, right? But you can see your first take profit should definitely be the height of this wick right here, right? That should be your take profit, just to pay yourself and at least break even, right? And as we go, we practice good risk management along the way, and it continues on its merry way. And we can see that price, yeah, it wicks up again. Hey, we could have taken that trade there. Look at that. Same kind of trade, same kind of profits, right? So boom, we could have taken more profits there. So there's that idea of volume, spikeage, right? We can see the spike here. Now this is our indication here to not trade this anymore. I want to make this clear here, is that we can see the massive amount of volume to push price down. You see how massive this candle is compared to all the rest. Failure to push price down. Look how much volume it took when they're like, nah, we're not going down, right? This is my indication to long, really. It's really to long because it's saying there's no way we're going down now. And if you check, obviously, you cross-check this with Bitcoin. You cross-check Matic with Ethereum. And you can see how price is behaving over there compared to over here. And Bitcoin will lead the way and Matic tends to follow. And bada bing, bada boom, you have a trade set up. So that's kind of my thinking along the lines. As I'm watching price action, I have the volume on. I'm also watching the indicators. You can see that we're so oversold on the RSI here on the left. When we came up here, oversold, right? Cool off, back up, back down, right? All in the red, right? This is all in the red. It's telling me that it's oversold. We have momentum waves making higher highs and lower lows. If you want to trade the divergence, you have that as well here, right? You have a bearish divergence, which also can give you confluence in your trade setup. So those are just some of my thoughts on how I get into trades. But volume can be a good indication. VWAP can be a good indication. Bearish, bullish divergence. You want to try and trade these divergences on a higher term time frame. They are more powerful. So you can see price comes up and at least on the 6th, but I like the 12. it's more of an indication. You know, you can see from here to here, we got a bearish divergence as well. So those would be my trade setups, right? This would be like, hey, look, we're getting higher highs, right? Lower lows on the momentum waves. We're coming up to a key level of resistance that we've set up and we've been watching for. It's come up and then it's dropped, and obviously it continues to pump to the upside, but that's just, there's many different ways of confluences to give you enough courage to enter that trade, right? And then obviously it goes kaboom and off to the races, but there is a bit of profit in that trade, right? So I hope that helps. And I hope these levels in Bitcoin, if you haven't taken down to these levels, we'll zoom out here. We'll share it in the Discord as per usual. But you can see that Bitcoin has defied the odds. It has come down. It has pumped back into this range that we were trading in before. We have a range between 23.8 and 21.10, which is our CME gap that we're looking to go back and fill, right? So overall, be cautious out there. We'll wait for tomorrow. We'll be going live tomorrow to help you guys get a better understanding of where market's going to go. I think that'll be a greater indication. It might go a bit sideways tomorrow because we're waiting for the news from Jerome Powell on the CPI data and the inflation rates. So be cautious out there. Remember to practice good risk management. Pay yourselves early. And stay legendary, my friends. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Much love. God bless, and I'll see you later. Bye. Mrs. Otter, can you believe I put them to sleep? They're sleeping. They're all sleeping. That's how good the live stream is. I've put them to sleep. It's time for dinner, isn't it? God bless you guys. Peace out.